Hello and welcome to my channel again, guys. So today I bought a few bits and bobs for the Fiesta. Here's the AC control that we talked about in the previous episode. So those buttons were busted. Now we're going to have it brand new buttons. The missing plastic that I talked about, it's actually this way. The two hooks at the headliner, and also the third brake light. So we bought all of this today and we are now going to install it on the Fiesta. As you can see, I already prepared it. Also, we are going to install the refurbished headlights that we painted previously, and this will be the last finishing touches on the Fiesta. So without further ado, let's get started. And started I did. In order to remove the brake light, there are two rubber grommets, then two bolts on the inside of the trunk, and after that it just comes out. There's a rubber grommet around it. So just changing the light here, putting it back together, and giving my attention to the center console. In the center console, nothing really hard, just remove some plastics in order to remove the center console. On the center plastic, the AC controls are kind of screwed in. It's a very brittle plastic, so be careful. I kind of broke mine, so I had to solder it back on with soldering iron. But yeah, pretty much it's very easy to remove. As you can see, there are a couple of electrical connections. Here I'm seeing if they're all the same, and I decided to just remove the face of it because that was a lot easier than moving all of the other parts to the old one, because they had some differences, to be honest, on the back, but on the front they were exactly the same. Also, I decided to find all of the working little bulbs, take it from the old one, move it to the new one, and pretty much that was it. Now we have another problem. Let me show you. So the module bolts into here via 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, those I repaired with a soldering iron, and this one is broken. So this tab here has to be kinda like that. So I'll take my soldering iron again, and I will solder it back on. Okay guys, I soldered the plastic. I didn't film it because it's not very interesting melting plastic with soldering iron, but now let's put everything back into place. I had a lot of issues here putting it back to place. It broke again, so I put it back out and it was a disaster. Okay, here we go again. I had to solder again because the plastic broke again. Again, this process was very hard. I went multiple times back and forth. Here at the end, I almost finished, but I ended up dropping a bolt, and yeah, it was worst thing kinda from everything. Guys, it's very hard to get back together, but let's see if it's all working. Okay. Let's only add feet, put feet in here. Yes. Okay. This is working. This is working. Okay. All is working. Now it's a matter of putting everything back together. Yeah, here pretty much I continue to put everything back together. There's a lot of bolts, a lot of plastics to get back together, but nothing really hard. The hardest part was that center the console thingy, and from here on it was pretty much smooth sailing, so that was kinda the hardest part from the job. Now, next thing will be to place the headlights, which by the way are looking like brand new. They really were looking like brand new. It was very satisfying putting it back together. All in all, overall we did a very good job with the headlights. Okay, so we removed the bulb last time in order to clean the headlight from inside. So let's install the bulb, and also there should be a black cover. Let me very quickly try and find it. And it's looking perfect. It's looking perfect, just like brand new. Today we're working on the Fiesta. I think for the last time, what we need to do is remove the LPG system, because the LPG system currently is over 10 years old and it's out of regulation. So I either have to change it and have an LPG system, or remove it completely and run the car only on gasoline. And the better option and the cheaper option, of course, is to remove that LPG system. So that's what we're going to do today. And without further ado, let's get started. In this specific case, the LPG system is right here where the tire should be, the spare tire. So there are quite some things we have to do in order to remove it. Here there are some lines, some valves, some other things that we also have to remove. So let's get started. So the first thing we have to do is there's a valve here, this valve. We have to unscrew this valve in order to let the pressure from the gas tank. So let's start unscrewing. The camera girl will back out because she's a little scared. So let's start unscrewing this valve. It's a little stuck, should be doable by hand, but it's a little stuck to do it by hand. So we'll use pliers. Confident that there's no gas at the bottle, I started unscrewing the valve from the bottle in order to remove it, and gas started spilling. In the end, I decided to just run away. A lot of gas spilled and it was very dangerous, but I waited for almost half an hour and it was gone. Okay, so next what we have to do is remove a bunch of wiring and other stuff. So let's start with this. These are for the nozzles. As you can see here in the intake, it's drilled for the nozzles. So let's start by removing some of the wiring here. Remove this plug. All of this will have to be removed. You can see here removing of these hoses. I think this water running on those, or it's gas. I'm not sure, but we'll see shortly. If it's gas, there is no more gas in the lines. It's absolutely empty. so doesn't have to worry about that. So let's start by I'll remove this hose right here. Let's also remove this hose and the little hose on the side. So now we'll be able to remove this kind of filter housing. Yeah, shit. Sometimes it's hard to remove. Okay. So here inside, I believe, is our air filter. But we'll continue with this later. Right now, we want to remove this contraption here. Start removing some of the... Okay, let's first remove this hose. It's in the way. So we'll start removing all of this wiring. All of this has to go. Everything has to go. We don't need any of these wires here. And some wires for the inside as well. We don't need those. Where else? It's plumbed also here. Somewhere we don't need these. Yeah, we'll remove all of those. Also this, kind of for the battery here. We have to remove it. A lot of wiring. And there will be coolant as well. So let's start by removing the hoses. So I started tackling the job. It was not hard, just a lot of hoses, a lot of wires, a lot of things to remove. Okay, that's the ECU. I believe it's the LPG ECU. There isn't Ford emblem anywhere, and this is definitely not original. And all of the LPG wiring was to him, kinda. So now let's remove the rest of the wires. Again, this was not a hard process, just a lot of things to remove, a lot of hoses, a lot of wires, a lot of other small bits and bobs. So now let's take this and this specifically. Okay. This is the line, hard line. This is for the button inside, and this one I'm not sure, it's kinda plugged into this, which is, there's some vacuum lines here, and I'm not able to see very well. Oh, it's in the ignition. So let's for now clip that, and let's kind of clip this as well. Okay, so that's the wiring removed. Now we have to figure this out. We have to figure how to remove this out, and yeah, almost. Also, we'll have to figure how to find where is the plug, the original plug for this wiring, which is for the fuel lines. So yeah, that's something else we'll have to do, and have to remove the entire rail to do that. So we'll have to remove the rail also to to remove the intake, so let's maybe continue with that. For the intake, it was very hard. The fuel rail was only 2 bolts, but the intake had 5 or 6 bolts. One of them was on a very hard place, so in the end I just ended up breaking it on purpose to remove it. It didn't matter anyway since we were changing it. Okay guys, I managed to remove it. I didn't film it because it was a nightmare. But I'm now swapping things over to the new one. And there's that sensor right here. But I'm not really sure what kind of sensor it is, but I'm swapping it over. Okay. This hose is here. And now there's a bunch of electrical connectors and other stuff like that to finish up and install it. The hose here, I had problem with this because I broke it, and I'm now going to, it's a evap hose or something like that. It's hose. And I have to heat it up and make it smaller in order to fit. So that's what I have to do, and all the other things are just plugging back some electrical connectors, which is this one here and this one here, and plugging all the hoses back, which I mostly know where they are, mostly. So that would be fun. And yeah, I figured out the rail, so that would be easy. Put back on. So yeah, let's take the heat gun and shrink this hose. My idea of fixing the broken hose with heat was very successful. After that, it was a matter of just removing everything from the old intake, putting it to the new one. I made a mistake here that you'll actually find out in later in the video, but yeah, other than that, it was pretty much smooth, not a lot of bolts, just putting everything back together. Okay, technically, we have less coolant in the car than it's supposed to have, because a lot of the coolant got out when we changed the hoses. But technically everything should be plugged in and the car should be able to start. Will it start? I don't know. Yeah, shut up, please. Where is the key? Okay, there is a problem. And that problem is that the battery is flat. There is no battery. There is no electricity in the battery. Let's tighten the minus, because we don't have to do anything else right here. Like there's the intake, but we can start it without the filter. And we're going to change the oil and all of the filters anyway. So technically it could be started. The problem is it has no electricity. So what I'm gonna do is plug her in. Okay, let's start the car. There is no fuel to the car, so we'll try again a couple of times, because as we removed the fuel rail, there is no fuel pressure, and of course that's going to be a problem. No fuel pressure, won't start. So let's try again.
Charge.
Third time I try. Start. Even though the car started, I was giving full throttle here and it didn't work. It kinda was maxing out at 3000 RPM, which was not ideal. So in the end, I found the problem. It was the throttle body. The throttle body from the junkyard intake didn't work, but the bolts were very bad, so I had to drill them. It was a whole disaster, but in the end, it turned out great. It runs perfect. And what was the issue first time we run it? We found out that I'm not sure how this is called on English, but drossel in Bulgarian, drossel, is supposed to have electronic gas pedal. So when you press on the gas pedal, it opens this here to take more air, and it electronically tells the injectors to put more fuel. And when it puts more fuel, but this doesn't open, the car doesn't run good. So this was broken, and this was from the place I took the intake. An intake is just plastic bit, there's nothing can be wrong with it. But unfortunately this is broken. This has electronic motor inside and it's broken. So I put just my old one, but it took a while. The bolts rounded. It was a big mess, but in the end it works, and it works perfectly. It's very angry, I must say. And now the car is not controlled by this bullshit. It's controlled directly by the car ECU, so it should be faster as well. This for now, this will be it. For this, at least for the gas, everything for the gas is removed. I removed the wiring, I removed the bottle, all the copper hard lines, what else? The breather as well. And now what I have to do is change the oil of the car and change the filters. So let's start with as fast as we can with this air filter. To be honest, I don't know why I first did this. It is very strange. You have to, I think it's 7, 8, something like that bolts that you have to take out in order to change just the air filter. Not the best design, to be honest, but yeah, as you can see, air filter wasn't in a very bad condition, and we installed the new one just as easy. Okay, I just finished pouring oil, and to be honest, it's pretty obvious that I poured oil. I spilled a little. But I poured the new oil, changed the oil filter, changed the oil. We have new air filter. So what we need to do is assemble and put on screws. Guys, a lot of people pay for mixed coolant, pre-mixed. I don't know why, because it's very easy. You just put your concentrate, after that you take distilled water, not just regular water, the deionized water, distilled special without any minerals. You put it in the concentrate bottle. And just again put it in the big bottle. And now you have a mixed coolant ready for use. It's that easy. Took me 30 seconds. Now the car should be started. In order for the coolant to start circulating, the car should be on, engine should be on. So let's start the car. ABS light, maybe because I don't have a wheel. I guess it's something to do with the wheel. So coolant started circulating. We should wait for the car to warm up and we're ready. That's all, guys. That's it. That will be all for today. Thank you for watching this is now the last episode with this car. You'll never see it again. I'm putting it up for sale. If someone has interest, it will be somewhere around 3,000 level, which is about 1,500 euro. So if someone has interest in buying this uh, car in a very good condition because suspension is entirely new brakes, everything was changed before the crash, and after the crash actually, as you can see, everything is repaired. So if you have interest in this car, please write me, DM me, and yeah, see you guys in the next episode.